So I'm gonna try to remember this dream. Um, so in this dream, I was I was I was um in my house, and um I was watching this movie, and I had finished watching this movie. I felt like I needed to get out, like I needed to go walk or something. So then I got up and I went outside, and I noticed like everybody was sitting out there. So I wound up straightening up my porch, and I was in a townhome. So I wound up straightening up my porch, and I there was this lady. She wound up sitting down in the chair that I took down, and I walked outside. I walked off of my porch for a minute as I was talking to the neighbor, and she was curious, asking me, um, was I about to leave or something? I was like, yeah. And I was like, I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. I'm on this journey, and I just feel like I need to get out and walk because this movie is kind of clouding my judgment because they're talking about these perks and whatnot, and I'm thinking about going to get one and this and that, kind of encouraging myself. And you, I had just finished watching a movie about a guy who took these clear perks that gave him special abilities, and maybe this is why it was a part of my dream as well. Um, so then she was like, "Yeah, well, that's good that you don't smoke those anymore." And she was like, so we was conversating about that. So then I went in and I finished. Well, as I was going in, the lady was like, "You want to sit down?" I was like, "No, I'm okay," because she was sitting on the chair that I took down. It was my chair that I took down as I was straightening up the porchway. And she was like, "You want to sit down?" I'm like, "No." Go ahead. She was like, "Go ahead, sit down, sit down." I'm like, "No, I'm about to leave anyway. You can go ahead and sit down." And then my door had flung open, like it flung open all the way to my living room, like through my living room. And then it wound up, like, I was like, how the heck did that just happen? Like, this is why I need to go. And then it wound up being attached. Like, I'm like, is it detached from the freaking doorway? And it wound up being attached to the doorway again. I mean, to the door as if it never flung, through my living room. Like, what? So I'm getting ready to go. And like, all of these kids start coming into my house. I'm like, what is y'all doing? Like they all start coming in, and like the guy that was sitting outside, he wanted to see what was in my home, and he wanted to come in and sit on my living floor, looking at the TV. I turned off the TV. I'm like, what is y'all doing? Like I'm like, what? So then all the kids like they start coming in my home. And I want to go into the bathroom, try to use the bathroom, and my freaking toilet was clogged. I'm like, I gotta get this fixed. My sink, there was something going on with my sink. I'm like, man, I gotta get out of here. So then I wound up going out the bathroom, coming out the bathroom, and as I was preparing to leave, because I'm also waiting for my son to return home from the fest, I'm like, it's almost that time. Um, so then the there was like this kid in my like, okay, so I'm shooting them all out, and then there was this one kid of the neighbors, one of the neighbors that pooped beside my my doorstep. I'm like, what is he doing? Like this kid is literally pooping outside, and they were like, ew, ew. And then he was like, I told one of the neighbors, I'm like, why is he pooping on my doorstep, like beside my doorstep? And she was like, oh, he does that. I'm like, ew. I'm like, So I went into like I'm locking up my home, I'm trying to lock up my home, I'm trying to leave, and it's just like too much is going on. So as I'm trying to leave, then I go into the kitchen, and there's a door, like I got a door, yeah, it's a door, a back door that's in my kitchen. It's like a gate. So it's like if they was trying to leave out my back door, they would have to jump out the gate, jump that gate. I'm like, you know what? Get out of my kitchen. Get out of my house. And he was like he was in my refrigerator. I'm like, get out of my house. And he was like, He said something, I ain't bothering you or whatever, or something like that. I'm like, you know what? I wound up pushing this little boy out the house. But then I'm like, I'm kind of skeptical. I'm like, they might freaking break in my house when I leave. So I'm like, you know what? Go out the front door. Get out. And if you don't get out, I'm gonna take a picture of every one of y'all that's breaking into my house right now. And then so he wound up leaving. And then as he leaving, another kid running in. I'm like, get out. Get out. Like at first I'm friendly, but now I'm just like, get out my house. Like if y'all don't get out my house, it's gonna be a problem. Get out. So they all wind up getting out. I wind up getting them all out. And then my son wound up showing up. I'm like, oh, so he got out of school early because it wasn't even time. It was like around 3:15 when he got out of school. I'm like, okay, they must be doing early release or something. So he got out. And then I wound up getting them all out my house, and I wound up locking up my doors, and I kept like double checking. Like every time I walked away, I had to go back and I'm like, what is this I'm locking? Because it's like a doorknob, but it wasn't attached to the door. I'm like, is this the freaking? I was like, is this the part that I lock? And she was like, no, that's one of them things. I'm like, oh, it's a hose. I'm like, why does a hose have a doorknob on it? So, so then I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna go over here it was like a weird looking lock on my door. So I'm locking my door, but I didn't know if it's locked or not because the doorknob is on the freaking hose and this doorknob on the door is looking weird. Like I'm not supposed to lock it or something. So it wasn't a doorknob it was like the lock, like the inside of the door that I had to lock. Like the inside, the part that you take off of the door. I mean, you take off the doorknob and then there's just like this little um lock looking thing without the doorknob. So I locked that, and I guess that's how I locked the door. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lock it, and then I kept going back and check if it was locked because it's just like at first it was cool, everything was cool, but now everything looked kind of strange. And I kept, looking in to see if anybody else was in my house because if they was in my house, they can, simply unlock the door and let everybody back in. I'm like, hopefully ain't nobody else in my house. So I wind up leaving. Finally, we wind up leaving. We're going up. We're walking up this little trail, and then this trail is like I came out this way before, but then I've noticed that I haven't actually, walked out this way because I guess I used to live in this area. I used to live in a different area that was different from the area that I'm in now. So I'm just like, I'm like, how do I get out of here? Like, where is the the freaking the street? Like, I couldn't find the street. And I'm asking the lady. Well, I didn't ask the lady yet, but me and my son wound up walking, and like we running at first because you know just enjoying ourselves, So I'm running up the hill with him, like we running up the hill, and then I noticed that he fell into this sewer leak thing. I'm like, I would never jump into this nasty. It's like a sewer, but it was like a lake sewer, and he fell into it, so I had to freaking rescue him. So I jumped in, and I wound up saving his butt and getting him out of there. And we both coming out of that sewer, like all smelling nasty and whatnot. And then this lady was just sitting nearby and she didn't see us jump into the sewer, but I'm guessing that she like was around that, like she didn't know. But then, I explained myself because she came over to us. I'm like, yeah, I just had to jump in the sewer and rescue my son. And now I'm smelling like this. And she was like, oh, well, you gonna go back home? Like, I feel like she was trying to lead me back home so I could get in the shower and just stay home. But my butt didn't want to stay home. I wanted to be out. I felt like I needed to be out the house because my mind was just, you know, trying to lead me to a different situation. Like, if I would have stayed there, sometimes that's the thing before I go on. It's like sometimes when God is telling you to stay home, God is trying to make you stay home, but you keep getting up, you know. Um, and God put people in your life to kind of make you stay home, and they're aggravating the situation of you leaving the home because you're supposed to stay still. You're supposed to be still. But the fact that I kept getting up and trying to go to these different places, now I'm going through this and that and the third because I didn't be still. So I feel like this is a reflection of what I actually go through in life and why I end up in these type of situations that I'm not supposed to because I refuse to be still. I refuse to obey and be obedient to the situation. So that's what I feel like I was going through. But the lady was like she was sitting there and I was explaining myself to her and she was like, well, I was like, well, you know what? Whenever I get to where I'm getting to, I'm going to my family's house, so I'm gonna take a shower there anyway. I could just unwind and take a shower there. And I was actually going to this place because my sister had gave me this phone that she wanted me to exchange for some money. She gave me this phone that she had got from Christmas from my mom, and she was like, you can use this for some extra money, just go exchange it, and that's what I was going to do. So, and that's another, I feel like these was tests. I was supposed to be patient and just be where I was at, but I ended up leaving anyway. So I wind up, so I'm trying to get to my mom's house, but it's like all of these different, so the lady wound up guiding me. She was like, well, I can guide you to the main street. I'm like, okay. So we wound up going, we're walking, and there was this one guy that I recognized, and I'm like, you look familiar, and he waved at me, and then eventually I waved back at him. So then we walk in, and we come to this one way. She was like, well, we can go this way, or we can go through the buildings, like the street. We reached one main street, but we don't know where that main street was leading. So she was like, you can go this way, or you can go this way. And I was like, well, like I didn't have my mind made up, so she went ahead and guided me through the buildings. So we were making our way through the buildings, and then there was this another familiar face. He was like, hey, he was like, I knew you had it in you, like this and that. And I'm telling him to come here, but then I'm like, no, never mind. Like when he at first he wasn't coming, then he started coming. I'm like, no, never mind, don't come here, because I remembered that I had that smell on me from jumping into the freaking sewer. I'm like, no, stay over there. Like, don't come here right now. So then we start going up the stairs, and she starts singing or something. Like she starts singing this. There was this song. I think it was sung by um, I want to say, I don't know. I don't know who was. Well, I know who was playing. I know the song, but I can't think of the song. I don't know what song. It's too many songs that I like, But she was singing one of the songs that I liked, and I was like, "Is that you singing, or is it the music singing?" She wouldn't answer me. She was just singing, and like as she was singing, it's just like at first she looked like this old lady, but then she started looking like she started her skin. She became youthful. I'm like, wow, like she just transitioned from being an old lady to like, she started looking all, pretty and stuff, like really youthful. I'm like, okay. So I feel like, she was guiding me away from them in a way. So we went up these buildings, and then we wound up coming to this playground. So I go into like they all go through the like I don't even remember them going into the playground, but I remember them coming out of the playground. Like they led me through the playground, but I didn't see every, step they took to get out of it was like a jungle gym. So we went through this jungle gym, and I'm like, it's this thing that you gotta pull and go into. And then these two guys were sitting beside the playground watching us go through. And he's like, yeah, see, she fit through it and stuff like that. And I just thought, oh, and I'm smiling at them, but I'm going through it. She was like, so as we going through, she out of the jungle gym. She made it out of the jungle gym. But like I said, I don't remember her going through the jungle gym. Like I don't remember her taking all the steps to get out of it. So I'm in the jungle. She yelling at me. She's like, don't smile at them. Don't smile at them. I'm like, okay. So then I'm like, how did you get out of this jungle gym? Like, because I'm walking through it, but I'm like, I don't see where you got down. How did you get down? Like, I didn't even. I'm thinking like, okay, there might be a slide, or there might be like a sliding pole somewhere, but that's where the dream ended. I'm just thinking to myself, so we got stuck in the freaking jungle gym. We in the jungle gym. We never made it out of the jungle gym when I woke up. Um, so yeah, that was my dream. I'm like, wow, this was actually really crazy. But it was really interesting at the same time. Um, so yeah. With that being said, that was my dream. I just wanted to talk about that. Like, comment, subscribe, and notify, share at your own free will to share here. Bye.